So I'm here, where I'm at now is I'm in Taylor Mill, Kentucky. I have my company Kong Armor. We have a double deck situation that's going on here. We utilize a thick build coating system to resurface, restore, and revitalize deck systems, wood or composite. And here we have a double deck system, a sun damaged double deck system. And specifically, this is specifically what Kong is designed to do. Come in, take sun damaged deck systems that have peeling deck paint, scorched gray wood, surface cracks, what we call hairlines, this type of stuff, and just encapsulate them, engulf them, fill in their cracks and gaps, lock down the peeling coating systems that are on them. Thick build, high stretch, industrial. You guys have to leave thin residential paint behind when it comes to decks. The reason is this dude up here, wherever he's at, there he is, right? The thin residential deck paints that they sell you guys will not last. Look at what we got going on here. Big work truck. You can see this is an olive, a beautiful olive color that matches that house gorgeously. Very, very pretty. My workers are going through right now, and we're coating with the intent to fill in cracks and gaps. Whereas like a regular deck, like a run-of-the-mill painter that paints houses, decks, interiors, all-purpose painter would just come and just quickly roll out everything, real light coats, just enough for coverage. The difference is Kong Armor deck restoration painters, we train them all to work with an intent to use our thick build, high stretch coating and press down into cracks and gaps and fill in, resurface. So the whole thing's done with that intention. You can see it's turning out very, very beautiful. Very gorgeous. This is going to end up being a very, very gorgeous deck system when it's done. And then over here, we have another, this is a pool deck. And we've done the restoration here as well. That's another thing. Kong Armor, deck restoration painters. We have this super cool coating system that we restore decks with, but also we're valuable to homeowners because specifically our deck restoration painting and our deck rescue painting services, they combine this really ultra tough high stretch coating system with repair and restoration. So we'll actually come replace the bad wood, do repairs on your deck system that need done, then wash it, prep it, and ready it for coating, right? And what this does is it cuts down on the homeowner having to hire multiple contractors. One and done. One shot, it's all over with. Washing, repair, lifetime deck armor system. Not a 2-year thin residential paint or stain. A lifetime deck armor system. Okay. What we're doing right now is they're going around, they're doing their second coat on the outside of the system. Okay. So all these verticals will get 2 coats. Once they're done with that, we'll come in and then we'll start rolling out the floor. The floor systems will be done with an intent to fill in, right? So we'll be taking this really super high stretch, thick build, high build coating with the intent to fill these in. So every action we take with a brush or a roller is with the intent. So there's a lot of pressing involved. Whereas a regular painter would come through here and just roll this out like he's rolling a wall. And the problem is, it doesn't fill anything in. It doesn't help anything. It's basically like throwing money at a dumpster. Literally. Our process is fast. We have a strong work crew to make it to where you don't have guys or one guy in your backyard for a week or a month that you know you're buying him lunch and having to feed him and all that stuff. Couple visits, a visit to wash and repair, a visit to coat, you're done, right? So low intrusion. We'll work here to fill in stuff like this edge crack here. We'll fill that in so that water can't continue to get down inside of this 6x6 and destroy it over time, right? Something that happens over a long period of time, but it does happen. Hey Raymond, yeah. A crack on the outside of here, okay? Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Okay, thank you, buddy. Here. Some more. Beautiful, matches this A-frame beautifully. I call this the olive deck. You see here, we'll come in and we'll work with something we call silverback epoxy. And we'll fill this in here. This is what we call checking. This is a 6x6 post. And this is what we call checking. This is from the expansion and contraction cycle of this post. Because of relative humidity and temperature. It's at this, since this crack is at the end of its life, meaning it's super wide, it's probably not going to get much bigger. We'll utilize an epoxy system called silverback epoxy that will cure up harder than concrete in there. So when you're done, you can literally take a hammer, boom, and crack it. The board itself will give, or this 6x6 will give before that epoxy gives. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. This here, I'm not sure why this hasn't been replaced yet. They might be building this out with epoxy, I'm not sure. I'll find out about it. But this is a one coat system. This is one coat. You can already see the difference in build over a thin residential coat, right? Over a thin residential paint. Yeah, I think thin residential deck paints, I believe, are around 3 mil thickness, and this for one application will be 10 to 12 mil thickness, right? And then with temperature and humidity, this particular coating has the ability to expand out and be up to 30 times thicker than a standard deck paint. But they're working diligently to get this done, and this is going to be super insanely gorgeous. One of the problems is, like I told you guys in the beginning of this video, particularly this family here, they've said they've had nothing but horrible luck with deck paints, deck stains, as long as they've lived here. And I can see why. Everything they have is right out in the middle of the open, right? And so it's these UV rays that break down. What we call it is UV ray adhesion degradation. So what these UV rays, they come down and they hit these coatings, and they actually damage the adhesion where the coating has adhered to the wood or the composite or the metal. It doesn't make a difference, right? What we've done with Kong is something first in class. It's the world's best UV deflectors that we stick in Kong armor. And what they're designed to do is, as these UV rays come down and they beat down, they hit this deck's coating. They hit the surface of this deck after it's coated. It'll take these UVA and UVB rays, they'll come down, hit it, boom, they'll bounce them right back up into the atmosphere. So UV ray deflection, and that's key. It's a key and very, very vital part of fighting peeling and cracking. The UV rays do damage, and then the expansion and contraction cycle finishes it off, right? UV rays weaken it, and then the expansion and contraction of wood or composite or any substrate, they all expand and contract. They all breathe in moisture, relative humidity in the air. They take that moisture in, and it's what causes them to swell out, right? And you notice in the fall and the winter, that relative humidity starts to drop and things tighten up, right? That's what's busted these boards open. The hairlines in them, that's what's caused these hairlines. This board, the relative humidity in July and August, it goes through the roof, 98%, 98, 99%. It just means there's a lot of moisture in the air. You know, these boards breathe in that moisture, and when they do, they expand out. Then at nighttime, or you know, a few months later, there's a mini cycle that happens every day, and then there's a larger seasonal cycle that happens. When the relative humidity starts to go down, the moisture will get drawn out of these boards and they'll shrink up. And it's that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth that causes these to bust open. Natural. It's natural. And some of them on your deck system, you're never going to be able to get rid of them completely. Even with a super thick coating, even with the biggest, toughest coating system on the planet, some of them will come back. It's because of that cycle, right? But our coating system, it'll resurface those and fill those in. About 90-95% of them, we usually get them filled in, and it's that intentional act of taking that elastomer and pressing down in there and pressing that coating down in there to where it gets in there. And if you're not experienced in doing that, if you don't know what you're doing when you're doing it, which most guys that are hired to coat a deck system, they don't. They have no idea what they're doing. So they just take a little weenie roller and they roll the deck out like they're rolling a wall. Absolutely no pressure, no pressing. And it doesn't get that coating ingrained down into that wood. Filling in those cracks and gaps, it actually gives you a lot better adhesion because you're actually down in the wood, right? The olive deck should be done sometime today. Thanks for listening to me talk and ramble. They keep telling me not to get on here and talk and ramble. You talk too much, you ramble too much, you say too much. I just love code, that's all. I love doing this. I love helping a family transition something like this, right? Because normally they wouldn't be able to find somebody to really help them with this. It would be a very, very poorly done deal. The tradesmen in the area, I hate to say this, but they're busted. They're done. They've been done for years. My decks, they're first in class. You'll never find one of my deck systems. Look at the braces. You don't find it. Look, let me show you. Good luck. Let me show you. braces holding. We did the restoration on these. Braces everywhere. Yeah, braces on posts. Look how pretty this coating system is. You won't find guys that do this stuff for you anymore. They'll just come in here, zip those down. No, all of Kong Armor's coating systems are done to my standards, which are way above one of the residential painters in the area as far as decks are concerned. And if they're not done to that standard, they get redone. I tell them constantly, we got to be the best. We have to be the best, because these people in the area, they don't have anybody else. There's nobody else to help them. Everybody else is busted. It's a sad truth, but it's truth. Anyways, I'm signing off from the olive deck. I can't wait to see down here. This one's going to be super gorgeous. I know this for a fact. I can't wait to see that pool deck down there done, because it's going to be insanely crazy, ungodly beautiful with thick build, high stretch on it. It's going to be so awesome. And Kong's designed for water. It's designed for that. That's specifically what it's for. Use around water. It's crazy. It's going to be crazy beautiful. Stand by for complete transformation videos of the olive deck. I'm Anthony Ford. We'll see you guys later.